producer, script writer, and content writer too. So basically, yeah, I'm here to talk to you based on the title of this event going on right now, the next media superstar. I'm sure you all here, you're going to get into the media industry one way or the other, right? Please, if I'm right, let me get an affirmation from you all.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So there's no need beating around the bush. I'll just go straight to the point on how the Nigerian media industry works. Now, here is the thing. I'm sure most of you are either in school and obviously waiting for ASU to call off the strike, or some of you are about to get into school and then you're finding your passion in media and you're asking yourself, oh, I want to be in the radio like this person. Oh, I want to talk sports like Mr. Sammy. Oh, I want to be on radio like Amanda. Oh, I want to be on radio like your favorite on-air personality on radio. And you keep asking yourself, how do you do it now that you've not graduated and ASU is pulling you back? Are you going to give up on your dream? Will you finally get to achieve your dream? Is this going to happen? All of those negative thoughts due to the country where we find ourselves. But the good news is the Nigerian radio industry, or media industry in particular, most times don't need you to be a graduate for you to start practicalizing. I'm sure you know the Nigerian labor law would always tell you, oh, before you apply for this role, you have to have 10 years experience. And most of you we would always come on, not most of you, we would always come out to counter that 10 years experience, because thanks to the educational sector in our country, you're spending almost 1 year at home. You're supposed to graduate by the age of this. And these days, industries or companies put age brackets in when they want to employ. They'll say, oh, we're looking for, especially the media industry. We're talking about the media. And if you, depending on the station you want to work for, let me use Beat as an example. If you want to work in Beat FM, they'll say, oh, we're looking for people who are between the ages of 18 to 35. People who still have that young vibe, at least 30, 28, people who still have that young vibe and all that. And look at you, you are probably in your 20s and you're still in your third year for the second year, thanks to ASU strike. And you're asking yourself, when I graduate, when I go for my service, how old will I now turn to work with Beat FM? Now, here is the cheat code in getting into the media industry, like I was saying before. Now that you're on strike, I would advise you, if you know that radio station you want to work in, yeah, nobody wants to take people who would not bring something to the company. I'm talking from experience because I did it when I worked with Lasso Radio. Since I got into school, I've never been jobless. When I mean jobless, for every break I have, even the 6 months, we experienced 6 months as a strike. For every break I have to get back at home, I gather the courage and walk into a radio station. And I tell them, oh, this is what I'm bringing to you. I would love to work with you. Yes, they will not pay you. They will actually tell you, oh, we don't pay interns, so we don't have money. Tell them, no problem. That is where if your parents are not in support, you try as much as you can to get something on the side, because these days, even becoming an OAP will not put or solve all your financial problem. Even having one job in Nigeria is not going to solve all your financial problem. That's the truth. So you walk into that radio station, tell them you want to work with them, but you have to have something on your hand. That is where what are you bringing to the table is justified. That is where it is literally justified. What are you bringing to Beat FM's table that would make them want to take you in, even if they are not going to pay you? A good example is Lasso Radio. When I finished my school, I was waiting for service. I came back home. I stayed in Lagos. Yeah, Lagos State University. I stayed in Lagos. I took my time to listen to, because I've been away from Lagos for quite some time, and I heard new stations came into the city. I took my time. I listened to all the radio stations, and I figured out the one that was close to me, 100 naira from my house to Lasso Radio. And I told myself, oh, well, 100 naira or 200 naira every day is not a big money. I can always ask my parents or ask my mom, or I started selling chin-chin at one point to get it. Oh God, I sound like a motivational speaker. But that's the truth, though. That's the truth. I'm not capping. So, I listened to I took 1 week, one full week, from Monday to Sunday rather, to monitor the programs of Lasso Radio right from when they come on. Right from, I think they start broadcasting at 6 a.m. then. Right from when they start broadcasting at 6 a.m., my radio is on. I listen from 6 till 9 p.m. I think so, 12 a.m. when they shut down. So after listening, what I did was I came up with a content in my head. I was like, And when you're coming up with a content for a radio station, you make sure your content would bring in money. That is what you're bringing to the table. And in that way, if you do well and your content brings sponsors and money, trust me, they won't want to let you go. They will never, ever want to let you go. That's the truth. Nobody wants to dispose what is of great benefit to them easily. Nobody. So I thought about that content. I wrote it like I'm writing a project. I wrote it. I typed it out, printed it out, spiral binded it, and that day I dressed up. I think around 8, I dressed up. I told my mom that I'm coming. I'm going to Lasso Radio. She said, "Do you know anybody there?" I said, "I don't know anybody there. So how do you intend going there to?" You said, I showed her what I had. I said, "This is the content that I have. What do you think about this?" I ran it with her. My mom is my biggest hero. I ran it with her. She was like, "It's okay. I hope they get to accept you, because I hear they do this whole tribal thing and all that." I said, "Don't worry, I will go." I went there. I got to the reception and they asked me, "Oh, who are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for the station manager." Yeah, when you get to a radio station and they ask you who you want to see, when you have your idea, it's either the receptionist will tell you, "Oh, wait for the station manager." Just tell them you want to see the station manager. I told them I want to see the station manager. I said, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "Not really, but I have something to submit. I have something to give to him." "Are you a student of Lasso?" This was the question. I said, "Oh, no, I'm not a student. I just finished." He said, "Okay, hold on." And then the man came out, brought me into the office. I told him, "Sir, I just graduated. I have 1 year before I go for my service. And I've listened to your station. I came up with this program. I don't know if it's going to be okay if I get airtime on the station to run the program myself." He took the proposal for the radio program, skimmed through it and told me, "Okay, we'll get back to you. In Nigeria, we'll get back to you might be 1 year, 2 years, 3 months." No, I did not give up. After 1 week, I collected his number. After 1 week, I messaged, "Oh, hold on, we are working on it." I think he got back to me after 2 months when I consistently bugged him to get back to me. So he did get back to me and asked me to come to the office. I came, we talked about it. How do I intend bringing sponsors, blah, 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 and all of those things. I told him. He said, "Okay, when can you resume?" I said, "From next week." I think that it was already midweek. I said, "From next week." I got home. I got ready. I started dressing and going to work. Guess what? I did not start going on air. They put me as a social media manager who tweets song and someone who monitors the news. You get that was what they put me. That was what they put me as. But what I'm trying to say is, in summary, at the end of the day, it took like 3 months before I started going on air, before they started, "Oh, this person's show. I need to listen to this person's show." At the end of the day, the show was quite big and I had to leave. So what I'm saying is, if you want to get into the media industry, don't sit and wait till you graduate from school. Do not. Radio station need hands. It's either you're providing news for them or you're generating content ideas that is going to be of great benefit to the station. So if we're done with this class, you can try it out. Honestly, you can't try it and nobody's going to chase you out of the radio station. Take your time, listen to a particular radio station. When you're done listening, think of a better content that will sell the station and that will bring in money for the station. Write a proposal. I'm sure most of us know how to write a project proposal. Write a proposal. When you're done writing the proposal, run it with someone you think will be maybe your mentor or someone you hold on very high esteem. When you're done, dress properly, walk into that radio station. Do you have an appointment with us? Oh, no, ma, I don't. But I feel I want to see the station manager. I need to submit this to him. You identify yourself with confidence. Don't be scared. Nobody's going to chase you out of the station. When you meet the station manager, you say, oh, tell the station manager what you're here for. He's not going to chase you out. He will take your proposal and tell you, I'll get back to you. Make sure you remember to keep checking up on the station manager. But I don't mean bug him. Do not bug him or her. Take your time. 2 months, 1 month, but make sure you set a reminder to always check back on that station manager. And I am promising you, if you do this for like 1, 2, 3 radio stations, one of them will pick you, but never expect a pay. That is the trick, and that is the cheat code in the media industry. Now, all this time of ASU strike, if you are attached to a radio station doing something for them, when you're done, it's in your CV. You're putting it in your CV. Nobody's going to come and put gun. And you did work for them. If you worked with Beat FM for the period of ASU strike and all you did was just to off the light and on the lights in the studio, it's something. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you're gaining something. Make friends with any OAPs around there and gain. Make sure you impact in their shows. Oh, please, I have this idea. What about we do this? Help them get content for the show. When you're done, you put it in your CV that you worked for Beat FM as a content creator. Oh, you worked for Classic FM as a content creator. Oh, you worked for Niger FM as a content creator. And before you know it, your CV is huge. And when you drop it on the decks after school, whenever ASU decides to call off the strike, you have your NYC discharge certificate and all of that. When you're done and drop your CV on the table and then your employer is looking at it, oh, this person really utilized this time. Don't just sit back and say, oh, I want to get into the radio industry, and you're not doing anything to get into the radio industry. This is just the cheat code, honestly. And finally, before I go, pick a niche for yourself in the radio industry. In the media industry, I keep saying radio. In the media industry, pick a niche for yourself. And when I mean pick a niche for yourself, if you like sports, if you're a sports person, thank God Mr. Sammy is here. If you're a sports person, try as much as you can to know everything about sports, so that when they wake you up, oh, who is now the new coach of Chelsea? You tell the person, oh, why was Chelsea's coach sacked? You tell them, oh, who is on top of the table? You tell them, oh, you know how to do it. If it's politics, make sure you listen and read political articles and watch political programs. You don't know it all by just being on social media. Make sure you dedicate your time and watch all of this. If it's entertainment, oh, don't just, when you hear radio presenters talk about OAM, when you hear radio presenters talk about Big Brother Niger and the way they analyze it, it's different from when a random person who watches Big Brother Niger and catches the clip on social media talk about it. People will feel like talking entertainment is quite easy. Oh, when I call one of you now to come join me on my show, and I ask you questions about Big Brother Niger, or what's happening with Burna Boy and Wizkid. Entertainment is not easy. So make sure you grasp the intelligent part of entertainment and not just the surface of, oh, Wizkid and Burna Boy, they are friends, but Burna Boy wants to beat Wizkid. Why? Why is Burna Boy reaching out to saying if Wizkid was not his friend, he would have punched him in the face? Why? You do not know why. So whatever niche you want to carve for yourself, make sure you do it and do it well, that when you are called on to talk about it, you talk about it in a very distinctive way, different from the normal gist you have with your friends on social media about that particular topic. So please, I hope this is quite short enough for you to understand becoming the next superstar.
Up now. I don't even know waiting there. Class don't end. Jesus.
Can I go on?
Yes, you can.
Yes, go on, ma'am.
Please check your mic if your mic is on mute. I would advise you to mute your mic, please. I guess someone's mic was on mute. Okay, like I said, I think that's enough talk for you to become the next media superstar. That's enough. Please, any question? I'm here to get your answers. I'm here to give you answers, rather. If nobody, hello, can you hear me?
I have a question.
Okay, I can see someone
Good
raising
morning.
his hand. Good morning.
Yeah, one issue I've always had is looking for a sponsor. I want to ask, how can I find a sponsor?
Sponsor in
I didn't get what you said.
Sorry, I am having a call coming to my phone. I'm sorry about that. Someone asked me a question. How can you get a sponsor? Please, break it down for me. Sponsor. When you say sponsor, how do you mean a sponsor?
I was working for an online radio station where they were paying me, but after some months, they didn't have the financial power to continue paying me. But I really wanted to continue the job. So I asked somebody and he gave me advice for finding somebody to sponsor my show. And I've really had issues with finding a sponsor for my show. So I want to ask how I can get sponsors.
Oh, okay. Like I said, if you have a good show content, you can send proposal letters to company. Let's say you have a show and your show, the target audience. Also, when drawing up your show, make sure you have your target audience in mind. Let's say you're drawing up a show for young ones and your target audience are between the ages of 18 to 25. You obviously know that during that period, the person you will reach out for sponsorship of your show will definitely be a particular product or brand that caters for that particular age. For example, MTN 5G I'm just giving you an example. MTN might be a very huge deal for you to pull out for yourself. MTN 5G is out now and they are running adverts on different radio station. You can write up to them and tell them, oh, this is why you should sponsor my show. This is why. Give them reasons why they should come and sponsor your show. Or you can you mustn't reach out to big brands. There are small entrepreneur individuals that are out there putting out there, we're trying as much as they can to get the visibility. Remember, in this life we're living, whatever we're doing is straight by butter. What are you giving me and what am I giving you? Everybody wants their business to reach a larger audience. Let's say I sell Apple wristwatch and then you come and meet me, guy, I have one online show I'm doing on radio. Come and put your advert on that station now. How far? Place your advert on that station. You might not get anything in return. Mind you might not get anything in return. But once someone somewhere hears that, oh, Orlando Apple Watch is running an advert with your online radio station, oh, another person will be interested to run it. And that is where you make your money. Breaking or getting sponsors in the media industry is quite difficult, especially if you are starting up. And that is why, like you said, the online radio station, at a point, they don't have money to continue because they don't have consistent sponsorship and adverts. Be ready to give out some things for free for you to get something in return at the end of the day. except you're quite good with marketing. I'm not good with marketing. I can't speak of marketing in the media industry. But if you know your marketing skills, in that way, you can get your sponsors. You can make your money on radio. It's just like influencing job on social media. If my followers I engage my followers a lot, I have creative content ideas to put out. Very soon you will see this person coming wanting to advertise with me. I can take as low as 10,000 naira for one day. I can take as low as 2,000 naira for WhatsApp online. They do WhatsApp adverts these days where people take 2,000 naira to post for 24 hours. All of those things are ways you put out yourself out there. So you should think of creative ways to make sure your sponsor is attracted to your show, because you can't just be doing a request show. Oh, call in and request for a song, any song you want, I'm going to play it for you, and then you take that show to a sponsor, a potential sponsor, and then the sponsor asks you, how am I going to gain on this show? You can tell the person, oh, I have a lot of young people wanting to listen to new songs on this show. It's just for you to defend your show, darling, and that's it. If the person is convinced enough, then good to go. Honestly, there's no special way to make money on radio if you don't have good marketing skills. And that's why media houses these days, they don't joke with their marketers, because they know they're the ones that go there to get the money. Even if the content or the program they are doing on the show, on the radio, is not making sense, the marketer will market that show to an extent that, if I don't advertise on this show, I'm losing. No. That's where your marketing skills come in. So you that is running an online radio station and looking for sponsorship, and obviously you're running it on your own, I would advise you to think of great marketing skills to put out yourself. Don't start going for big brands. It might be difficult for you to get. Make sure you start from your friends around. Start from your friends who sell shirts. Start with them. Guy, come and advertise on my show now. Even if na 1 minute, I go run out for you. But you go share 5, even if na 5K, even if na 3K. That's how you start. Honestly, as long as the station is not a big station like that, it's just an online radio station trying to get visibility, you can start like that. Trust me. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma, you did. Thank you very much.
Please, any other question?
Yes, ma, I have a question. Good morning, ma.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Okay, I just want to understand, like you said, if you want to get a job on the radio or experience based on, we've gone through this process and we just want to practicalize it when you are in the field of skills. So it really applies to just the radio. Like people have always said that they went to the radio and it was really easy, but I've never really heard anyone talk about going to a TV station and found it that easy to get in. So does this principle of going and submitting your proposal and everything, does it really apply to the television station as well?
Yes, it does. It does apply. But it's just that TV can be strict sometimes before they put out their content for people to watch. So yes, TV might be a little strict. But first, there's one thing I just need you to take away from your mind. That's doubt. Walk into that station first. TV or radio station. When walking in, have something tangible. That's all I have to say. Don't walk into a radio station without having it. I've seen lots of them. Not people say have even reached out to me. Please, you people have space? Let me come and work for you people, at least before ASU calls up this right. What are you bringing to the table? You can't come into a company with the economic meltdown, not having something to provide for them that would bring in money for them. So take that, are you sure TV will accept me? Are you sure this is going to happen? Don't walk into a TV station asking for a job. Walk into a TV station and convince them that they need you. And in what way do they need you? You have something in your hand. Please, can you go through this? If you find it interesting, I can come back and, walk behind the scene with you guys. There are different roles in TV. The little I know about TV, there are different roles in TV that you can actually engage yourself in and still learn. If you are lucky to get into TV, you can work as a costume designer. those people who dress up the TV presenters. You can work as a makeup artist, those people who touch up their faces before they get on. You can work as assistant, work with the light team. You can work with the camera team. You can work with they call them idiot card. Idiot card is when, how do I explain it? Idiot card is, sorry. Idiot card is when I sit down, when they look at us in the TV, you think they're just looking at us. There's actually a screen that is reeling out what they are reading for us to see. So that's like an idiot machine, because they use idiot machine now. Before it was idiot card, now it's idiot machine. They reel out the things we hear them read to us while you think they are looking at us. They're actually looking at the idiot machine placed just in front of the camera. So you can work with different teams. And at the end of the day, you're garnering experience. If you work with what's River State Broadcasting company, television company rather, and you work for them for like 1 year, just being an assistant makeup artist, or assistant costumier, or assistant lighting designer, when you come out, you put it on your CV. Oh, I worked in River State Television, or as so person. They will know that you were there. You know all the processes of starting a show, running a show, and all of that. That's an experience. So my dear, take away that, oh, TV is strict. We can't get into TV. Radio is quite easy. TV is quite hard. Try it, like I said, try it. Walk into any TV station with a content, an amazing content in your hand, and tell them, please, I want to see the head of programs. I want to submit this to him. Do you have an appointment? And not really, but I think he needs to see this. You convince them that they need you, because some receptionists can really be rude, and they say, if you don't have an appointment, go, but know how to find your way around and get into that place and drop your content and act like, when you're done going through it, reach out to me. If it's something you need me to explain to you more, I can. And then you go. That's confidence. Somebody will say, who is this one? Let me check out this thing that this person has submitted. Though. And if your content is mad and nice, they will reach out to you. Oh, please, can you come? How do we turn this into a program? How do we get consistent guests to come into the show? All of those questions. But if you don't have anything and you just walk into a radio or a television house, oh, we want to work with you, they will send you away. That's the truth. I'm sure I've answered your question, right?
Yes, Ma, you have. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be taking the last question before I, leave the class. Final question, please. Please go ahead. I see somebody raising his or her hands. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, madam.
Good morning.
I am attending. You have actually encouraged younger generation quite good, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But for we belong to the old generation, so to speak.
Okay.
I'm 39.
Okay.
Yeah. Do have passion for just reading the news, basically.
You have passion for just reading the news?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I did a little of, I had a little training far back in 2013, but was discouraged at a point in time. But just passion pushed me back, and then I'm joining this program again this time. So from the way you sounded, it's like there's nothing for us for the old generation.
No, there is. No. Okay, here's my answer to your question. I'm going to start addressing the point where you lost the passion and the point where you gained the passion back. I'm going to sound like I'm addressing the younger generation again, but I'm going to come to you. Now, there's one trick thing about passion. Growing up, if you find out that, oh, I love talking on radio, start at that time to start nursing your passion. Start putting out, I started doing podcasts, I started doing YouTube videos, I started doing anything that would make me to talk. I started nurturing my own passion for talk. And it continued like that until I gained that strong passion that nobody can talk me out of it. It is until you have decided, oh, okay, I think I'm okay with this length of my passion that I've gotten into. Let me try something else. than when you have that passion. And then we hear our parents who say, God forbid, you cannot be a radio presenter. Or you hear your friends telling you, so now radio work now you want to take, train up your life and all that. Please do not listen. Now back to you, the older generation, like you called yourself. There is still a way for you to get in. Social media is gradually taking away the traditional media, that is radio and TV. And that is why these days, before you can't see an OAP. I'm sure we all know that. Before, growing up, the older generation who asked me this question now would definitely understand what I'm talking about. Before, you only listen to them on radio. You can't see their face. But thanks to social media now, tools, Gbemi, OC, you even chat with them most times on their social media handles and all of those plenty things. That is the power of social media. Now, getting back into your passion and loving to cast the news. Newscasters are amazing people, honestly. So this is my own suggestion, yeah? Take your social media, start up something. You can start up to I'm giving you a very wonderful idea now. You can start doing 1 minute around the world. Put it out on your social media. Consistency. Tag people. Don't be scared to tag the station you want to work with. Tag them. At one time when they need somebody, there's this guy that's always tagging us on socials. Just as sometimes when people who handle their socials are not really people who can, you can rely on to get your job, but tag them. The people who own those stations will definitely get to see your videos. 1 minute around the world, the weirdest news around the world. Do it, put it out on social media, put it out on YouTube. Consistency is everything you can think of. So you are not being pushed out of the media industry because you're 39 and you've lost your passion, but you want to regain your passion again. And you feel like, I can't do it again. When I had the passion, I had friends who talked me out of it. No, grab social media and do the best you can do with it. Just have great content. I'm sure we all see content creators these days really getting so creative. Sometimes when I even open my social media, I ask myself, what is it that somebody has not even done that I want to do? What is that thing that is going to stand me out? And once I post it like this, I'll be having good content. I'll be having people, engaging on my page, and at the end of the day, land me gigs. I can use a friend of mine as an example. That guy is always posting and being unique. Look at him hosting shows everywhere, getting the money. So your age is not a barrier. Utilize social media. Don't wait until. Sometimes people go from social media to radio. Trust me, because these days, radio stations want to hire people who have presence on social media because they know the power of social media these days. So if you're already, you found your feet on social media, it will be easy for you to transit from social media to radio because you have content to give. You're also imagine you start doing something, one of these that I mentioned, like weirdest news around the world, 1 minute around the world, and you're putting it out there on social media, and then somebody somewhere sees it. No, we're going to hire this guy. This guy is going to change our news. Is going to change our news bulletin. Is going to bring in creativity to our news. Instead of us just reading politics, entertainment, and sport, is going to bring something really interesting that people would always want to listen to, the weirdest news around the world for today. Let's hire him. And once you're into the team, they know that they have. You said you carry shoulder up now because you know what you're worth. So don't just sit back and be like, I'm already 39. When I want to do one like this, they talked me out of it. Now I can't. Just go back to your creative room or your creative closet and think about something you can consistently do, and put yourself out there. I guess I answered your question, right? Did I answer your question? Okay, I have some messages here. Let me just go through them and then wrap up, since I guess the person who asked the question might be having network issues. I'm not going to mention your name. I'm just going to take it anonymous. Okay, she sends to everyone, so it's nice I take your name. This is Emeka Tony. It says, good morning, ma. I've been to about 2 radio stations in Lagos, but missed out on the one I missed out on one due to distance, though I stopped pushing already, but as it is now, I'm good with Excel and some other data analysis tool and software. Can that help me get into the station? Tech is the new thing. I don't know much about tech in the radio industry. I don't know how much they need, tech engineers and software engineers in the radio industry. Honestly, I can't answer that. But missing out an opportunity due
Orlando,
to
sorry,
distance.
can I come in here? This is Sammy.
Go on.
Let
Mr.
me
Sammy,
just
go
come
on.
in here. For those who are asking about tech, I'm going to get a tech expert who will talk to us. That's a completely different field in its own. It's just like asking me to tell you about what an engineer does in a radio station, what the transmitter does. There are different subdivisions in radio stations. It's like you asking me to tell you what the scheduling and the traffic people do. Everybody has his own area, his own departments. So asking her that is a bit unfair. I'm going to get a tech expert. There are people who are employed just to work on specific areas in radio stations. They didn't study mass comm. They didn't study anything related to the media. Some people are engineers, like hardcore engineers, but radio stations hire them for their expertise. So we're going to get somebody before the end of the training who will talk to us about tech. Auntie Orlando, thank you. You have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sammy, for helping me out. As for distance, I'm sure when you look around you, Emeka, this is still your question. When you look around you, you would find, closed radio stations. But if you don't find anyone, that's the price, you have to pay. I gave an example when I said mine, that I had to find the one close to me where I spend 200 naira every day going to work, Last Radio, which wasn't far from my house. So try as much as you can. But if you can't find, that's the sacrifice you have to put up. And that will be another place where you have to be creative and look for what you do that would also be giving you the money for that transportation to wherever it is you're going to. And this is coming from Chuku Divine. Good morning. I want to become a professional football analyst just like Mr. Sammy. I am good at it. After this training, what do you advise me to do? Should I write a letter to a radio station asking them to let me work as an intern regardless of being paid? Mr. Sammy is here and I've worked with Mr. Sammy. Over the weekend, Mr. Sammy brings in people who come to analyze sports. Mr. Sammy, have you reached out to Mr. Sammy to talk to Mr. Sammy? Mr. Sammy, I really love your show. Do you mind if I come in and, understudy you, or, just watch you do your thing, and as time goes on, I could intern under you? That's what I'm saying. Make a move. If you request for something in a polite way and something that is reasonable, nobody is going to turn you down. And Mr. Sammy that I know would not turn you down, except when, he has a lot of people already that he's mentoring. That would be where he will now say, okay, can you hold on for some time and then I'm going to get back to you. You can get Mr. Sammy to work with Mr. Sammy either in the morning or in the evening. You can get another sports presenter in another radio station to work with him either in the morning or in the evening. Just make the bold step and make your request. If it's available, you get it. If it's not available, it's only a no you get, and no's will make you stronger, because you will muster the courage to ask another person, and you tell the person and you tell yourself, last, now no, the person will talk, the person no will beat me. And in that way, you're building up courage to keep asking. There are lots of sports presenters in River State. There are lots of sports shows in River State that you can find yourself and get yourself attached to one. Thank God, sports shows last for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 15 minutes. So this is not like taking the whole of your day. And how do you, let's say Mr. Sammy is going to be talking about, after the pause of the Premier League because of the death of the Queen, you need to come back with content. What were the players doing during that 1 week pause? Get this content, submit to whichever sports presenter you want to intern to, and tell the person, I can be getting stories and news for you. I can help you do a vox pop on sports on the street just for your show. I'm telling you, no radio presenter or sports analyst will turn you down if you're bringing in a good content to assist that person. That's the truth. So try as much as you can to reach out to many sport analysts that you would want to work with. And like I said, have a tangible content and what you're bringing to the table that will help the person. Olubumi says, good morning, ma'am. The media industry is very competitive. I agree. How can one constantly maintain an edge over other people in the industry? Let me answer number one so I don't get carried away. I always say, content. Do things in a different way. Let me use the 1 minute around the world and the weirdest news in the world as an example. Many people are tired of hearing Boko Haram kidnap. Many people are tired of hearing the millions of naira politicians are stealing. Many people are tired of hearing the number of strikes many associations are going on. People want to hear something different. So take a switch around the news industry and just do something different. I'm not saying you cannot talk about it, but let people look forward to that aspect of the news where you say, oh, the weirdest news around the world, 1 minute around the world. So when they tune in and hear your Boko Haram gist, Nigerian Wahala gist, they are waiting for the last part of the gist where you say, listen to the weirdest news around the world, and you drop it. So if you want to be different and maintain that edge in the industry, you just have to be unique. Your content should differ. Not when Wave FM is doing request show by 2. Treasure FM is doing their own request show by 2. These people are doing request. Everybody will now be doing request show. What's now the big deal about listening to radio these days? Everybody's doing request show. But when you tune into a radio station and someone says, oh, this show is about finishing the lyrics, you're going to play the song and you finish the lyrics, you would want to participate because it brings in your, aside just requesting for a show, your brain is being tested. Oh, I want to finish the lyrics. Oh, who sang this? You're getting involved. So just be unique in your own way and make sure you do things differently that are, how would I put it now? That are beneficial to your audience. And then number 2, you said, what has been your best what has been my best moment on air? To be very sincere, I have number of best moments on air. One of my best moments on air has to be interviewing APC chairman of Edo State while I was working in KUFM. And he did really commend me on air after I asked him a question and he said, oh, I love this question. This is quite a different question. So I'm going to answer it properly. And I felt like, oh my God, I just ticked a box in my media career. So yeah, getting involved with big personalities, both political personalities and entertainment personalities, has to be my best moments on air, especially when I prepare for my interview and I know I will kill it. Those are my best moments on air. And your third question says, in your push for success, have you ever been disappointed? Have you ever had cause to doubt yourself? How did you overcome this? Yes, all these questions. In fact, you cannot even grow in your career confidently and learning lessons if you've never been disappointed before. I think I should just say this story here. Now, I've been applying for Beat FM since 2018. Like 2018, every year, 2018. Of course, Beat FM is the biggest radio station in Nigeria. 2018, I kept on applying every year, and I'm getting disappointed. I see my fellow on-air personalities doing big things. When people move to bigger stations, I kind of ask myself, am I not good enough? Don't I do what I'm supposed to do? So yes, all of this will come in. I doubt myself at a point. I feel like I'm not even doing it well. I feel like I'm just doing right. So I even asked myself, are you sure this is actually what I want to do? I was just too excited as a child that I started following this path. Are you sure I'm not supposed to do something else? So yeah, I've been disappointed. I've had cause to doubt myself. But how did I overcome it? I keep telling myself that I can do better. And not only just telling yourself you can do better, practice to do better. When I mean practice to do better, if I notice that, I don't speak very well on radio, I don't get my tenses right on radio, what do? I read. I start reading and I start watching movies that would make my tenses right. And I start speaking to people who I think would always correct my tenses. Let's say, for example, you're to intern in Beat FM. We are called, urban contemporary station where we speak proper English. And you're coming from an area where in your family, in a pidgin English, everybody, they used to talk to themselves. And you notice that it's telling on you. And you're feeling bad because your supervisor always, hits at you. Oh, you need to get yourself right. You need to do this. And after that correction, you go back home and start feeling sad. I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best. Why is he saying I'm not speaking the right English? My dear, the first thing you need to do is stop speaking pidgin English with your family members. Ask my parents. At a point, I started using British English on themselves. They were laughing at me. Who are you? Who do you want to form British English for? But it's because I wanted to get my tenses right. It's because I wanted to work on myself. I started watching American movies. I started watching British movies. I started reading novels. I started interacting with people that I know that they speak very well. And I learned from them. So that's how you overcome your doubts about yourself. If you find out a fault where you are lagging behind, what you do is get better on it. Example, when I started politics, I was never a political radio presenter when I started. It was entertainment. I did pure entertainment because I really did want to get into the industry. So I never knew, there's politics. When I started working, my boss gave me 3 months to get better on politics, that if not, he's going to sack me. What did I do? I reached out to all the big political radio presenters on Instagram. I entered their DM. Sandra Ezekwesili, you guys know of her. As at when I started, I entered a DM. I told them, Ma, I love the way you interview people. I'm so addicted to your show. Please, Ma, can you, help me out? What are the things I need to know to interview big politics? This was what I have. I had to screenshot it in case I lose my personal account. She gave me a breakdown. She said, oh, you need to do this, but don't doubt yourself. You're doing well. And make sure you do this. I started watching Politics Today. I started watching Democracy Today. I started reading political articles on different radio stations. I started I became friends with almost all the political personalities I know of in my town. I started attending political events. At the end of the day, you can wake me up today. I'm doing entertainment too, but you can wake me up today and I'm going to talk to you about anything politics. You can bring the president and I'll sit down comfortably and interview him without fidgeting. If I prepare for myself. So how you overcome the doubts about yourself is find out your faults, find out what people are always, telling you to get better on, and work on it. You can never grow if you don't accept criticism. Trust me, you can never. So if you feel, oh, this guy is always picking on me, this guy don't like what I used to do, this guy this guy that, I don't like what the guy used to do, blah, 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 blah. My dear, sit back and pick out those ones that are sensible, because sometimes some people, when they criticize you, they just want to really get mad at you. So in other news, let me just wrap it up. In other news, learn to accept criticism. Learn to accept criticism. And when you accept it and work on it, you are going to get better in any field you find yourself. I just have 2 questions to take here. Joy says, good morning, Madam Orlando. Thank you very much for this lecture. Please, I want to ask, as an SSC holder for now, who have passion in being a media personality, please, after this training, where do such persons start from? Like I said, write a content, take to any radio station of your choice. A good content, take to any radio station of your choice and tell them why you would work with them and what you're bringing to the table. Nobody's going to chase you away, okay? And finally, good morning, ma'am. Please, in preparing your content that you want to submit in a radio station, what should it take? First, this is a different angle of radio and talks about writing content and proposal. So what I would advise you to do is, I'm not going to talk much about it, but I'm going to give you a clue on how to figure it out. Google is your friend. Google is your friend. YouTube is your best friend. YouTube is your go-to Wikipedia. So when you go to Google, just type how to write a radio content proposal, how to write a proposal for radio content, how to do this, how to do that. Go to YouTube, watch. You will definitely find something and you get it together. Okay? Most of the things I know today, thanks to YouTube, honestly, and thanks to free online courses. Leverage on free online courses in the field you want to grow on in radio and utilize it very well. Good morning, ma. How can I overcome my fear anytime I'm on air? I usually get nervous. Can you? Okay, the thing is, yes, there's people. people usually say when they come to the mic to speak to the mic, they usually get nervous. This is how you overcome your nervousness. If you have your contents properly written out before you become a professional like us who can go to radio and talk without looking at any paper, as long as we have our content already. So if you are scared of, oh, let's not go and make mistake. So let's say you want to talk about what's trending right now. Oh, the Queen's death. Let's say you want to talk about the Queen's death, and Mr. Sammy calls you, oh, Debbie, you'll be joining me on the show today to talk about the Queen's death. And you say, oh, okay. And you're just so excited because you can't wait to be on radio. You call all your family members. I'm going to be on Beat FM with Mr. Sammy to talk about the Queen's death. And at the end of the day, you forget what's the paramount thing you're supposed to do before going on air. Prepare. And then you go on air and Mr. Sammy asks you to talk and you're scared. Oh, how do I say this? How you are scared, you start fidgeting. So if Mr. Sammy reaches out to you to talk and you want to overcome your fear, my dear, take your biro and paper. Write down all the things you know about the Queen and how you want to say it. So if you want to say, good morning, my fellow, good morning, Beat FM lovers. My name is this, and I'm here to talk to you about the Queen's death, what led to the Queen's death, how the Queen died, and all of that. It's just like going into an example empty-headed. You will not know what to write. You'll be scared. But if you're well prepared to go into an exam hall, you read very well, you prepared for it, you'll be working with your shoulders high. That's the truth about the matter. So yeah, I get the fright of microphone. That's normal. That's very, very normal. I'm not saying you will overcome it once you prepare for your show. But I'm saying to help you overcome it, prepare, have what you want to say on radio, so that once you get to the mic and start talking, trust me, if you have everything at hand, 2 minutes into your program, your fear will go, because you will know in your head and in your mind that you're doing well, you're saying the right thing. Why is it that the blacks are lambashing the Queen? Why is it that the blacks don't like the Queen? You drop your point, you keep on saying it. At the end of, before you know, 2 minutes into the show, that fear for the microphone or fear for speaking on air will just leave you. That's just the answer. And I guess that's the last question I'm going to take for today's class. This is close to 1 hour of the class. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you for your question. I'm sure with the little things I said, I was able to, uplift the zeal and passion of so many of you, and not just for you to wait until you graduate from school. If you wait for Nigeria will change your passion. Let me tell you the truth. Nigeria will honestly change your passion. So don't wait. Pursue your passion now. Thank you so much, Mr. Sammy, for giving me the opportunity to talk to these wonderful people. I really do appreciate it. I had a lovely time sharing my experience and idea with them.
Madam Orlando, the thing I want to say to you, I won't say it here. When we meet in the office, I will say what I want to say. But on behalf of the students, I want to say a very big thank you to you. I know today is a big day for you. It's a big day for the station. You are not expected to do this. You weren't expected to do this. You bent over backwards to do this. Yes. I appreciate it. I won't keep you any longer because I know how busy you are. For those who don't know, today is the 5th anniversary of Beat FM, and Orlando is like the face of the station. She is going to be extremely busy today, but she bent over backwards, like I said, to do this for us. Madam Orlando, we won't talk here. When I meet you in the office, I will deal with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Mr. Sammy. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll let Madam Orlando go, but let me say something to all of you, just to add to what she said. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait. You need to go. See, she said something. I'll come to somebody who said something about being an SSC holder. I'll come to that very shortly. But she said she entered the DMs of people who, were like role models to her in what she did. She talked about Sandra Ezekwesili. I worked with her at Cool FM. She's at Nigerian Info FM now in Lagos. She's very good. She's a first-class brain. Madam Orlando went into her DM. Madam, please, now, she was given an ultimatum. If you don't do this, we sack you. She didn't sit down and wait for the sack to come. She was resourceful. She went out of her way. She left her comfort zone. Leave your comfort zone. Nothing grows there. Nothing good comes easy. That's why I keep telling you guys, you're going to go through a lot of pain this next 1 month. Do not give up. Understand that when you feel pain, when you go through uncomfortable situations, you're very likely headed to a very happy ending. Madam Orlando left her comfort zone, went to somebody she has never met before, went into her DM and made her, and look, I've not seen the screenshots, but I can assure you, she did not just go into the DM and say hi. Now, let me educate a lot of you on how to approach public figures, those who are in the media, those who you don't have interactions with. You're not at the back end of their social media accounts. What do I mean? You don't have their passwords. You don't see the volume of messages that these people get. Messages come from responsible people, from irresponsible people, from all walks of life send them messages. So don't go into the DM of a public figure and say, hello, sir, or hi, Sammy, or hello, Madam Orlando, and wait. Most of them will not answer you because they don't know what you're asking, what you're doing. Some of them just want to come and say, oh, I chat with Oga Sammy. That was the day I was with my wife in the middle of the night. Somebody called me. That was the time I stopped taking calls from numbers I don't know because of this sort of incident. Somebody called me in the middle of the night. Do you know what the person asked me? Middle of the night, my phone was ringing. I picked. The person said, Oga Sammy, I beg Messi and Ronaldo who play ball pass. You know, those sort of questions. And you're like, come on, you don't abuse privileges like that. Now she went into the DM and immediately she made it clear to Sandra, this is what I want, courteously, respectfully. And when a lot of public figures, a lot of those in the public eye, when they see messages like that, they want to help out. But when you just go and say, hi, or good afternoon, they won't reply. Go to the point and make it clear exactly what it is you want to reach them for. Now, some of these public figures, even though you go and you don't just say hi and you courteously explain why you want to reach out to them, some of them will not even answer you. Either they didn't see it or they are not interested. People are different. Some of them are warm-hearted like Sandra. Some of them just know they don't have, or some of them are busy or something. Point is, if you reach out to one, that one doesn't respond, don't give up. Go to the next, no more than one. Keep your tentacles, spread your tentacles wide. And in conclusion, a true life story. The guy who was talking about SSC and Madam Orlando saying, reach out to radio stations. True life story happened in 2002 or 2003. I just left, I think 2001 or 2. I just left secondary school at the time. And a new radio station had shared this story before, but the new students may not be aware of it. So let me share it very quickly. A new radio station, FRCN, Treasure FM, had just come to Port Harcourt. At that time, there were only 3 radio stations before Treasure FM. There was Radio Rivers. Radio Rivers was off air at the time because they had issues with their transmitter or something. They were off air for a long time. So there were only 2 radio stations that were operational, Rhythm FM and Ray Power FM. Before I continue, I want to be sure that I'm not talking to myself. Bumi, can you hear me? If anybody can hear me, say hi. If not, I know I'm talking to myself.
I can hear you.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hi.
Hi, sir.
We can hear you.
Thank you. So I noticed that only.
We are with you,
Thank
sir.
you. You can mute your mic. Thank you. I noticed that only 2 radio stations were operational at the time, Ray Power and Rhythm, around 2001, 2002. I just left secondary school. I didn't have any formal qualification to work on radio. I've been doing bits and pieces at Radio Rivers at the time, but you couldn't really call me an expert at that time. I started when I was in secondary school. I was doing a show called Sports Supreme on Radio Rivers at the time with a man called Isaac Isuku. We started this thing, I think around 2000. So I was in secondary school doing it, but I didn't really have any experience per se. I was just like a guest analyst. I'll come once in a while, but I had never hosted a show. Now, I noticed that Rhythm and Ray Power had radio shows, sports shows that were generated from Port Harcourt. Rhythm had Rhythm Sports. Ray Power had their own sports shows, which were done at that time by Ayo Olibidapo, Peter Abaje, as this other guy, Leke Kanavora, in the 3 of them. But I noticed that FRCN, which was new, didn't have a program that was generated in from Port Harcourt. They only linked up to the network service because it was an FRCN station for the National Network News. So what did I do? While I was waiting for JAM, I'd written my SSC, waiting for SSC and waiting for JAM. I told my parents, I said I want to go to a radio station and look for a job. They didn't stop me. I'd always had this independent streak. They let me do my thing. I went to the radio station and I said, I want to see the general manager of the station. They said, are you on appointment? I said, no, but I want to see him. They looked at me and said, what in this one they talk about? I said, please, I want to see him. I didn't know that the him I was talking about was actually a woman. It was a lady, Lovett Chieze. That's her name, though you can check out on social media. So the receptionist went into the lady's office and then came out about 5 minutes later and said, come in, the GM wants to see you. I went in hoping to see one man and I saw a very beautiful woman behind the desk. Good day, ma. Yes, young man, how can I help you? Madam, blah, blah, blah. I want to do your sports for you because you don't have a domestically generated sports shoe. This woman looked at me from head to toe. I always use this to describe. I'm not huge. I'm not big, fat or anything. I'm very tiny. You can put it that way. Imagine how I was 22, 23 years ago. She looked at one frail looking and she said, are you sure you can do this? I said, yes. Now, that thing Madam Orlando said about money, she said, we don't have money. We're not going to pay you. I said, madam, I'm not doing it for the money. I want to do it because I know I can do it and I have a passion for radio. She said, okay. She called somebody that they should take me somewhere. They took me to their production studio. At the time, there were 3 people in that production studio. I'll never forget. It happened over 20 years ago, but I don't forget things like this. Faith Edeme, Charles Anazodo, and a man called Winnie Jackson. They call him Family Man. The 3 of them were in that production studio. And they said, the receptionist said, madam, say, make I bring this young man come, say, make on our audition. So Winnie Jackson looked at me, Faith looked at me, smiled, just walked away. She's not a sports person. So it was Charles Anazodo and this guy, Winnie Jackson, who were there. And then they said, okay, they say you want to do the sports program. Oh yeah, show us what you can do. They brought some scripts for me. They wanted me to read the scripts. I said, no, I don't need the scripts. They looked at each other like, my confidence level was at the roof. They said, okay, do what you want to do. Now, what did I do? I'll tell you guys what I did. I sat in front of a microphone. They were recording what I was doing. And then I said I was ready. They said, go ahead. And I did something, just to paraphrase, but I remember exactly like what I did. Maybe not word for word, but I remember what I did. I said something along that time. My name is not Sammy. Let me just say this for the record. My name is not Sammy. I said that day, quote, hello, welcome to Sports on Treasure FM. My name is Samuel Wejia. Good to be on the show. I've got a man with me in the studio. He looks like me. He talks like me. He behaves like me. Samuel II, how are you? And I replied myself and I said, I'm very fine, thank you. And then I said, Samuel, Manchester United have qualified for the Champions League final. What do you think? And I took over and I said, well, I think Manchester United did very well. They were fantastic. So I was hosting the show. I was analyzing for myself. And then when I feel, I say, well, that's exactly what I think, Sammy. And I'll go back to myself. I say, okay, Samuel, now let's talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League. Rivers United playing the Champions League. What do you think? So while I was doing it, they were laughing, because they had never seen anything like that. Now, after like 3 minutes, they stopped me. They stopped me and then they took me. The Winnie Jackson guy, he was so excited. And he took me, both of them took me to the ladies' office. And the guy was shouting and said, madam, we must give this guy this job. This guy is good. The guy is good. Long and short of it is, I got the job that day. At the age of what? 1920. That, if you listen to Treasure FM 98.5, they have a sports program. The name of the sports program is Treasure Sports. I named that program over 20 years ago. I created that program. I named it as a teenager because I was not afraid. And now if I hadn't gotten some kind of training, informal training, I would have failed. I mentioned to you guys yesterday, I grew up listening to the BBC. I'd listen to Russell Fuller. I'll listen to Martin Fuchs. I'll listen to James Alexander Gordon. I'll listen to Nishat Ladder. And even the ones that are not sports, Farai Mungazi, when he did Focus on Africa. I would listen to Louis Dissette when she did News Hour. I had a small radio. This small radio, the thing don't spoil, don't scatter finish. I go use wire, put them for the antenna. They listen to BBC, I'll listen to DW radio. I'll listen to the Voice of Nigeria. I'll listen to the Voice of America. So I was getting informal education by listening to world-class radio presenters. I was listening to world-class political analysts. So I was soaking like a sponge. Then there was nothing like social media. Phone no day. This even normal kind of phone. Now after that time, what person you can come? They will come. They get those phone. No be this type of phone they use now. The other ones amongst us who know what I'm talking. That time to go and buy SIM card na 30K for phone when no get Facebook. Who they create? Who won't give you Facebook? Who you be? Waiting the Twitter. Who know Twitter? But it was from my shortwave radio, and I now knew what those radio people could do. So those now they will no disrespect, but the standard of most of these guys in Western radio stations are much higher than what we have here, because those people are professionals to the core. Those people invest a lot of money to get personnel, to get equipment. So you can't compare what we do here with what they do then. And if you now fast backtrack to what we had back then, 23 years ago, when there wasn't any proliferation of radio stations, when there were just 1-2 radio stations, the standard wasn't nearly as high as what we had now. So when I went to that radio station that day, coupled with the experience I'd gotten from Radio Rivers, where I was going there just to help out, to watch those guys do things without collecting a kobo, I had garnered experience. A lot of people see me today and they're like, we're expecting to see a very old man. This guy is a young guy now. We've been hearing your name for a very long time, because I took the time to educate myself from a very young age. From a very young age, I carved a niche for myself. I remember that day when I finished the interview, when Charles Anazodo was seeing me off to the gate. I'll never forget what he said. He said to me, Charles Anazodo said, forget about the fact that they're not paying you money, and don't change your style for anything. Be original, be who you are. That style that I started with, that boldness that I had back then, it has never left me. He said something to me. He said, Sammy, if I tell you how much I was paid for my first job, you will laugh. At that time, Charles Anazodo was working with Metro FM. He wasn't married. He wasn't who he is today. Today, Charles Anazodo is like the face of sports television in Nigeria. He can go, he's gone everywhere. He went on vacation with his family to Italy 2 months ago. He's a big boy today. I'm not the richest man in the world today, but today I work with the government. I have different things that I do. It's not the salary that they pay me on radio. I mentioned to you guys yesterday, radio is the easiest job through which you get a job. And it's obvious, those who have been following my career path, it is obvious that if God keeps us alive, I will grow even more than this. And eventually I will trace it back to radio. Radio will be what would have exposed me to one of our lecturers. Kennedy Gondwe was saying to us that he has been able to interact with people that ordinarily he will never see because of radio. We have another big class coming up later today. I just thought I should share this with you, because anytime you lose, you don't get it back. I'm actually driving. I had to park by the road so that I could share this experience with you guys. So don't limit yourself. Don't wait to be spoon-fed by anybody. Push yourself. Push beyond the limit. See, you're going to be rejected. Don't think my story was all about. So if I tell you one day, I'll tell you about the failures, the embarrassments, the humiliations I've also experienced. It's never smooth sailing. But when great men, when great women tell you the stories and tell you about the setbacks that they've experienced, you understand that nothing good comes easy. So again, I congratulate all of you for staying with us. Let's just keep pushing. It's not easy, but by the end of the month, God keeping us all, we will all be better for it. Does anybody have any questions to ask? If there are no questions, we'll meet again in class in the afternoon. Any question? Bumi, can you hear me? Bumi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so that means nobody has any question. I'll see you guys in class in the afternoon. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, you still there? Can anybody hear me? Hello? Hello, the meeting has ended. Thank you.